Counterbending. How you do it, why you do it, and what results you should expect. Stick around, I'll show you how. Welcome back to Becky Amio Horse Training, and this is BT Ecstasy of Gold. We call him Wyatt. He is a 3-year-old quarter horse gelding from B&T Performance Horses out of Litchfield, Kentucky. I'll be riding him the rest of this summer. Today I am working on the counter bend or the counter arc, and it's where I'll shape his body in a quarter moon shape and take him the opposite direction in a circle. So here I begin by taking his nose to the right as I go in a circle to the left. I'm going to slow it down in slow motion for you. All I want is a teeny little tip of that nose. I barely see that right eye. I take that right hand, right rein across his neck. I'm using a lot of leg here to push him around in that circle. If you use too much rein here, the colt's going to go to the right, okay? So you have to find that fine line. Now, anytime you get a little bit of a mouth gapping situation, if it's not your hands or too much bit on the horse, it's generally because they're uncomfortable with the maneuver. They can't figure out how to get their feet correct, they're not comfortable with the pressure, and they're lacking balance. So I wanted to point that out in the beginning. He's gapping his mouth just a little bit as I come across, okay? Now the reason for doing this exercise is to develop balance in the horse, lighten them up in the shoulders, lighten them up in the rib cage, and to develop a frame of self-carriage, okay? And we're going to use this exercise down the line here to help pick up proper transitions, pick up correct leads, downward transitions, and get him to hold himself together using his core strength and keeping him soft in the bridle. So I'm going to slow-mo it down here again for you so you can watch this evolution of this time around. Now, what I want you to see here is he's trying to find his own balance. I don't change anything about my hands. I just keep on driving him forward with my legs. I continue to post on the correct diagonal. And you're going to see him reach down with his head. There's one stride and then there's a second stride here where he bobs his head down and he's trying to find the balance. Right here, this is where he gets on the vertical, on the bridle. He's holding himself together for one stride. And that's the kind of progress that we're looking for in this. We're not looking for him to hold it for multiple circles or multiple laps. At this stage of the game, we're looking for 1 or 2 strides held together at a time. We're looking for quarter circles, half circles, and rarely do I get a whole circle out of them at this stage. If you are getting a whole circle out of them at this stage or forcing it, you're going to end up in a big fight with them and they're going to have a lot of resentment and they're not going to understand because they can't physically hold it together. Okay, and I come across the center here. He reaches just a little bit with his nose. I take him back the other direction here. I start shortening up the amount of strides in between when I release the pressure. So at first, I'll ask for it a little bit. And then I get a few strides, and then I release and let him go on a straight line without messing with him. And then I'll pick him up again and hold him for maybe a half of a circle. And then I release the reins and let him go in a straight line for a little while. And then I pick up the reins again. And what I'll gradually do is shorten up that amount of time in between release and rest periods to see how he holds himself together. Okay, so I allow him a circle here of rest where I just keep him on the bend. I don't ask him for a counter arc here at all and let him go for several strides without asking for anything, just holding himself together. And then I'm going to put him back in it again. So part of learning this technique is being on call and doing it when I ask for it. So this is really nice. He moves his shoulders over really nice, goes right into that bend, allows me to take his face away, holds himself together. I hold it for nearly a whole circle, and it's a smaller circle too. That creates a level of difficulty as well. Now let me slow-mo this down again for you and show you this part. As I come across the center here, When I release him to allow him to go into a straight line out of this counter bend, he is holding himself together on a looser rein. Not a super long loose rein, but it's a looser rein. There's a drape in that rein. I know I have a martingale on this horse. Up to this point, the martingale has not done a single thing. So no gimmicks, no special tools here to do this. It's just riding and technique, and I can't emphasize that enough. So no crutches, just technique and good solid riding. And so I gradually take him in smaller and smaller circles, asking him to hold it for longer and longer periods of time, and transitioning directions, transitioning the size of the circle. And if you notice, he's kept the same trot speed the whole time. I mean, I really haven't seen much change of his pace, which is fabulous that he's been able to hold himself together for this whole entire time. Now, as we come across here, I'm making smaller and smaller circles. I also give him longer periods of rest here. And when I really want to test him, I transition more into less time in between each direction. Let's slow it down here and I'll show you this again. So we come across, I'm counter bending him to the right on a circle to the left, and I'm going to switch him and counter bend him to the left on a circle on the right. Now watch the transition here, watch the switch. When I pick up on him, the nose goes up. And this is one thing that we're working towards fixing, okay? He hollows out his back, he becomes U-shaped, the nose goes up. And that vertical railroad tie in the background is a perfect level to tell us exactly where that head is. And I bend him back around. We take about 6 more strides here, and then we get it right. And he puts himself back together and holds himself in place. And look at this frame here. This is what we've been working towards this whole time. Look at the improvement in this horse in just about 10 minutes of long trotting, posting trot, working on these transitions. Isn't that cool? He's on the vertical. He's carrying himself around, holding himself together. He's really balanced. This is what we're working towards all the time. So I hope that helped you guys a lot. Stay tuned. I'm going to be doing another video, a follow-up video to this, to show you how to take lope transitions out of working these counter bends. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I appreciate you watching.